official Seattle police report, Bart said he was contacted on 4494 by Tom Grant, and that Grant requested that he set up surveillance at the 11th and East Denny location. He said he was told that Caitlin lived at 11th and East Denny, and that she ran a dope house. He was told that he was to watch for Cobain and was given a limited description. He was not told that Cobain was suicidal, but was told that they were looking for him for business reasons. He said he was told that Cobain had a house on Lake Washington Boulevard and another incarnation. He said they surveilled the 11th and Denny location on 4494 from 6:30 p.m. until 7:30 a.m. on 4594. He said they took fluff shots every hour on the hour to prove they were on the surveillance. He said they surveilled the 11th and Denny house and the Lake Washington house until 4794. At 1:30 p.m. when Ben Klugman called and canceled the surveillance, he said he was very upset. Then he found out that Grant came to Seattle and went into the house with Dylan without telling him. He said the whole deal was rush and that he operated with very limited information. He said he would have no further business dealings with Grant and the report. I asked Tom Grant about his statements in his book, saying he saw Bart at the hill as him and Dylan were on their way to the cafe. Tom foolishly corrected me and said, "No, you are misreading what I wrote. I said that I had seen Bart's investigators in front of Moore's apartment." I then asked how he had seen these investigators, if they had relocated to Lake Washington on the 5th, and that if he is telling the truth, then why use recorded audio to prove your search if you have video footage from the Lake Washington house during the morning of the 7th. He replied that he didn't have to prove anything to me. Tom tells a different story about Barth in his books. He says that Courtney called upset and told him to call Barth and have him end the surveillance because she didn't want any surveillance done on that house. Bart says Ben called him and told him to cut the surveillance at around 1:30 p.m. Thursday, because that's when Bart says he ended all surveillance and left. So Bart or his investigators would have seen Grant. However, Bart doesn't say that. He says that he got upset when he found out that Grant came to Seattle and went inside the house with Dylan and never told him. One would think that even if his investigators saw Grant enter the house, that they would immediately have informed Bart. So why did Ben call Bart to have him cancel surveillance? Bart doesn't state exactly why, but my guess would be that it may have had something to do with Pelly and Gary Smith arriving at around this time. Bart used to work for the Seattle Police Department, so either the SPD or Ben informed Bart about Grant's activities. I assume it was Ben who had probably told him that Grant had been there and had been to the house already, so he doesn't need him to watch the house. The report isn't clear, however one thing is clear. If they were surveilling the Lake Washington house on Thursday morning, then they would have seen Grant and Dylan at the house then and there and have it on video. Did Grant and Dylan even go to the Lake Washington house Thursday morning at 2:15 a.m.? Not according to Barth. Grant stated in his book that he saw the investigators outside Caitlin's apartment on Wednesday night. Barth reports to the Seattle police that they had already ended their surveillance at Caitlin's at 7:30 a.m. Tuesday morning. This tells me that Grant had been in Seattle before the 5th and that he had already entered the house with Dylan at some point before the 5th. According to Mark, he and Dylan were with Grant the day after Kurt had arrived back in Seattle, which would be Sunday night. Early Monday is when Kurt Cobain was murdered. He was injected with a lethal dose of heroin that would have made him unresponsive within a few minutes at best. Where did this heroin come from? Well, if Mark and Dylan scored that amount of dope and all three men, Mark, Dylan, and Grant, agree that they were all searching for Kurt together, then this may answer the very question that Antonio Terry was trying to solve before he himself was murdered. The source of Mark and Dylan's heroin involves Tom Grant. Tom drove them to the very spot where Bart's investigators were to set up surveillance. Tom handed Mark and Dylan $200 to give to Caitlin Moore in exchange for heroin. Again, Where the hell are Bart's investigators at? Could this drug deal have taken place before Bart was even hired? If it was purchased the night Cobain died, then it would make sense for Courtney to put Caitlin Moore's address and phone number in the missing persons report that Monday once Cobain had been killed. Because once the news hits, guess who better keep quiet lest they get charged for narcotic homicide? Tom Grant has been requesting the release of the autopsy report for decades, because it would prove that Kurt Cobain would not have been able to fire that shotgun. As his saying goes, dead men don't pull triggers. Tom did not want that autopsy report leaked. When it did, he had to be the first to put it out on social media with a cover letter to state that there was no new evidence contained in the documents, only a bold-faced lie by Nicholas Hartshorn, who reported that there was a suicide note found at the scene. And sure enough, just as we all have come to expect, Tom Grant steers the attention back to the suicide note not being a suicide note. The autopsy along with the toxicology report proves that Kurt was already dying, if not already dead of a heroin overdose before the gun was ever fired. By the way, the audio recordings of the search may have taken place Thursday night when everyone who was in the house had left, yelling out a dead man's name. Sick. Tom will have a lot of explaining to do, that's for damn sure.